How's it going? Ryan here. And today I'm going to review the single trade that I took on SPY, one that ended up resulting in a 25% win. One and done for today, but before we get into the trade, I'm going to look at some of these levels. We're starting at the daily time frame here. From the bottom up, we have 444, 445. We've been looking at these levels for a while. Didn't come into play today. We have 450, we have 452, 454, 455, and 456, all whole numbers, but also you can see just levels of confluence where they have acted either as resistance and or support, depending on whether we are above or below that level. We also have some zones that I was watching. I'll hop into an hourly time frame here and we'll take a look at those. So these zones are areas that were above where we were opening up, or around the area that we were opening up. So we have this one right around 453. It was the high of this day, but also a recent swing high that really resulted in a big sell-off. We have this area as well, kind of a high or a peak in this downtrend that resulted in a big sell-off. And then we have this area up here that we wicked multiple times before really breaking down and starting this sell-off. So a few zones I was watching there on the hourly time frame. And if I go down into smaller time frame here, we're also looking at this zone here is that one near 453 that we were looking at previously. It also happened to coincide with the high of yesterday's trading session. That's what this green line represents. We also have this zone here that I'll point out in a second, and the low of yesterday's trading session. The yellow or orange, gold, whatever that you want to classify that color is, those lines are high and lows of the pre-market. In this zone here, just was looking at kind of the swing low, and with an exception, we busted below it. But I believe this is from an hourly time frame here. Perhaps not, but just this zone that we found some support. Those were the main areas I was watching coming into today. As we look at this, so let's look at what happened. We had broken above yesterday's high of day in that supply zone. So we'd broken above it. This was resistance, now becomes support. And you can see that acting as support in the pre-market as we kind of form this little box in here. And we're ranging between the high of the pre-market and the high of yesterday's trading session. Right off the open, we pretty much test both levels. We start somewhere in between. We test the low, we test the high, end up with a candle that doesn't really tell you a whole lot. From there, we sold off pretty majorly, and we temporarily found support at this 452 level. As you can see, we wicked down close to it, pretty much touched it, wicked quite a ways below it here, closed above it, but then we sold right through. However, on the subsequent candle, we kind of put in a double bottom here, and you can see that both candles wicked down. This one started to recover and have a green body even. And one thing that I was really looking is, do we come up and test this 452 level and reject and continue downwards? Or do we reclaim this level and continue up? We found some major support there earlier in the day, so I was curious to see if we could reclaim and hold this level, or I was looking if we came up and showed weakness at this level that you could potentially take a put and look for continuation downwards. But this setup right here, this candle coming down in high volume, wicking up, this candle coming down, wicking up, ending green, looked like a bit of a reversal or a bottom, if you will. So I wasn't too keen on trying to short this move just quite yet. I was watching how this candle reacted to this 452. If we tested it and rejected, then I might be interested in puts. However, we broke really convincingly through this level. This candle, we had data come out. So this was at 8 a.m. or 10 a.m. Eastern Standard. We had data come out and we wicked all the way down, pretty much tested exactly the low of the day here. So you can see we tested that and then pulled all the way back up and ended green. So that was really bullish for me. And that really made me think that we were going to hold this 452 level because of the support we found earlier, and because the clean break above it and the hold after wicking so far below it, holding and closing above that level. So from this point on, I was looking to enter calls, and I was looking to enter 453 calls with the target of this zone up here. That was the high of yesterday and a big supply zone that we rejected off of. So on this candle here, we came down and we tested 452, at which point I got into 453 strikes, calls for Monday's expiration. I don't trade 0 day till expiration, so I picked Monday's expiration, 453 strike, got in right at the retest of this level, and I sold on the next candle here as we came up in this zone. So that was a really easy, simple trade. That was over in 4 minutes maybe, from the time that we got the retest to the time that this candle tested that zone. So locked in profits, it was about a 25% gain. From here, we were testing this level, and I was saying that it would be interesting to see if we get a rejection up here and you could take a rejection down, back down to that 452. I did not trade this. It didn't really set up as I was looking. From this candle, it looked like we might get the setup I wanted. You know, one candle pushing up, getting pushed back down, rejecting the close above that level. This candle, however, was pretty bullish and closed at the top of that level. So I wasn't interested in taking puts here, even though it would have worked out. But just according to what I was looking for, it wasn't really the price action that I was, I guess, hoping for, looking for to be able to take that trade, as well as I already had a pretty good win for the day, so I wasn't looking to give that back. But you can see from there that we did come down, test that 452 exactly, recover, sold off. From there, we sold down into this next zone. That was a zone of support that we had from yesterday's trading session. So you can see how that held pretty well until it didn't. We broke, retested, sold down into the close to that 450 level. From which point we rallied above, retested that zone, came down into the low of yesterday's trading session, retested that zone, came down to the low of the pre-market, retested that zone, etc. So you can kind of see how we moved zone to zone there. I was happy and you could say lucky that the trade played out from level to level as I was hoping. Once we held this level, the next level we were targeting was the one above it. So solid trade on that. It was over quick. It was pretty painless. No real adversity. We got in pretty much at the bottom, got out, not quite at the top, but at the target itself. So that's how I traded the day. Really, my trading philosophy is mark important areas, areas of interest, zones of supply and demand. Just watch for areas where we've reacted to previously and just wait and watch price action in those areas. Do we break above it? Do we reject from it? If we break above it, we might head to the level above it. If we reject off of it, we're headed back to the level below it, etc. So really, it's just watching price action, being patient, and looking for a good entry. As you see that we found some support here. Once we reclaimed that with a really bullish couple of candles, I got in calls at the retest and targeted the level above us. So pretty simple. You know, I trade a pretty simplified way. I'm just looking at movement from level to level. If a level holds or breaks, then we target the next. So with that being said, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you watching. I do trade live every Monday through Friday. So if you feel so inclined, stop by, say what's up. I always enjoy interacting with people and I appreciate every one of you. So thank you. I hope you have a great weekend and yeah, have a great day. Peace.